So, Sega has filed for a trademark for Shadow the Hedgehog in Japan, and this has sparked a lot of, I guess, people wondering and a lot of theorizing of why they are doing this. You know, like what could come of this. So this was filed back in September 2025. This comes from the Tails Channel Twitter account, which is one of the best places to get Sonic news. So he said that trademark repositories reveal that Sega has filed for a Shadow the Hedgehog trademark in Japan, filed in September 2025. The application lists clothing, toys, and other categories under its classifications, while products such as computer programs are otherwise listed alongside the goods and services that the trademark encompasses. It is currently unclear whether the trademark signals towards any significant game title to be released by Sega in the future, though the possibility remains to be seen. And this has been the big talk. Is people are like, oh, they filed the trademark. Are we gonna get a new Shadow the Hedgehog video game? Was what a lot of people were saying. So, I wanted to talk about this. Are we gonna get a new Shadow the Hedgehog video game? So a lot of people were talking about, and this kind of goes into who Shadow is currently. Shadow has kind of started to eclipse Sonic in some aspects, is what a lot of people are saying. They're like, Shadow's got a real big push because we just had the year Shadow. And he was one of the top played characters in the open network test for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. He was the top player for the open network test in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. He got super popular more so with the normies because of the movie and Keanu Reeves' performance as him. And then during the Cross Worlds animation, Shadow wins the race. So there's been a lot of talk of people going about Shadow's kind of now taking the spotlight away from Sonic, and in some aspects, I can see that. And I too am kind of done with the whole we can stop pushing Shadow. I think Shadow's fine now. I think 2024 did a lot to reestablish his brand and his character, so I think Shadow's good now. I think we can take a break from doing stuff with Shadow. But will we get a new game, like, out of him? That I don't think is going to happen for a long while, if we do get one. Personally, I just don't see it happening, because Sega is not in a position with Sonic where they can do something like this. They're not. Only recently have they gotten themselves out of the rut that Sonic was in during the 2010s. Like you look at 2010s and you had, Sonic Colors, you had Sonic Generations, then you had Lost World, you had the entire Boom Initiative, you had Forces to deal with. Like, there was a lot of just garbage for Sonic for so long. And it was really, like I said, it started from Sonic 06. 06 started the death of Sonic, and Sonic was seen as a nothing brand for years. And only just recently have we started to see Sonic come back, and it's all because of the movie. All because of the Sonic movie. The Sonic movie did a lot to reestablish Sonic's his view, like how he's seen by a lot of people. His image, I should say. That's the word I was looking for. Because the movie, we saw the first image when he was like ugly Sonic, right? And everyone's like, oh god, it's gonna be awful. I remember watching that trailer at school and being like, oh no, he looks awful. And I wasn't even a huge Sonic fan at that point. But even I was like, that looks awful. And then the news came that Paramount said, we're going to delay the movie and we're going to fix him because you don't like him, so we'll fix him. And then his new design is perfect, right? His new design is perfect. And they look so much like a game character. Imagine how Knuckles or Tails would have looked in the old design. We wouldn't need to because they wouldn't have been there. If that movie had happened, I don't think we were going to get a second movie. I really don't. But I think the goodwill that came when people were like, no, you listen to the fans, I'll go see your movie, really helped. And the movie did well. It's a good movie just in general. And that led to the second movie. And from there, that's when Sega started to take Sonic a bit more seriously, it seemed. Because then we had them re-release Sonic Colors onto other platforms. It had been a Wii exclusive for years, so they were finally putting it onto other platforms. Regardless of how you think of the port or not, or whether you think of the game, it was a good move, PR and on paper-wise, to be like, hey, we're taking that Wii exclusive that's been on Wii since 2010, finally you can all play it, on every console, which was a smart decision. It is a smart decision. And then we had movie 2, which did very well as well. That was another really good movie. That's when they started to take more game aspects and put it in. And then we had, for video game wise, we got Sonic Frontiers, which I mean, if you know me, you know Frontiers is my baby. I love Sonic Frontiers so much. It's my favorite Sonic game, so I'm gonna praise it. But even just from taking myself out of that, and we look at it objectively, Frontiers did well. It definitely did very well, and it definitely helped. Like, again, a lot of the normie audience go, "Oh, Sonic did what?" Like, the big thing was the first Titan fight with Giganto. A lot of people saw that and went, "Sonic's doing what now? Sorry, he's doing what?" And then Frontiers went on to sell. At the current time of recording, as of mid 2025, it has sold 4.5 million copies. That is huge for Sonic. Now, selling 4.5 million copies it's just huge in general, and the fact that Frontiers has managed to do that, it is now the best-selling 3D Sonic title, which warms my heart. By May 2023, so not even a year into it, it had already sold 3.5 million units. So Frontiers did very well, which, hey, really good, right? And then we had Sonic Superstars, which, again, regardless of what you think, it sold 2.43 million copies as of now. As of right now, that is what it has sold. So then we have Shadow Gens, which is another big topic, which is Shadow Gens on launch day sold 1 million copies. And then by late November, we're at 1.5 million. So it's sold at time now over 2.3 million copies. So while it's of course not as big as Sonic Frontiers, that's still very good for Shadow, right? And that was the big appeal of that game, was you get the remaster of Generations and you get a new Shadow story for Shadow. So when people were asking, okay, we're gonna get a new Shadow game, the response has been, well, I have a surprise for you about last year. And that's true. Shadow Generations is essentially Shadow the Hedgehog 2. If you look at the story, it is Shadow the Hedgehog 2. So that is your new Shadow game, because that's how I refer to it. I don't refer to it as Sonic X Shadow Generations, because also that title sucks. But I refer to it as Shadow Gens, right? That's what it is to me. The game last year was not a Sonic and Shadow Generations pack. It was Shadow Gens. That was the game of last year. So again, you got to see like the application lists clothing, toys, and other categories. So toys and clothing is, I think, the big one that we need to look at here. They want to get as much Shadow merch out there now because, again, Shadow's a merch seller. So they want to get as much stuff as they want out there. I think that's what this trademark really is. And also because, I mean, Shadow's their character, right? Like, he like, filing a trademark for your character isn't anything crazy, guys. Companies do this all the time because they want to keep the trademark going. So I do think a lot of people are making a mountain out of a molehill here, and I really don't think we are going to get anything big like a video game with Shadow in the foreseeable future, because again, we just had one. We literally just had a video game for Shadow. I genuinely think this is more along the lines of merch. They're just getting stuff for merch. And like I said, like I was making my point before I went on here, Sonic is not in the place where we can do this, where we can have something like how Donkey Kong Bonanza just came out, right? And that's like, Donkey Kong has become his own brand, right? He has become his own brand. We have a bunch of Donkey Kong games. Donkey Kong has spun off from Mario and become his own brand. Shadow is, I think, the most likely candidate for us to get something like that, because I mean, he's already got his own manga to celebrate Shadow Gens last year. He's getting his own one-shot for IDW, I think, next year, because they delayed it because IDW is going to die soon. So I think Shadow's the most likely candidate. And I mean, when you look at all the characters, right? Shadow's got 2 games, right? Shadow the Hedgehog, Shadow 05, and Shadow Gens. He's got 2 games. So I do think if any character from Sonic will be the first to like spin off and become his own brand type of thing, it's going to be Shadow. It is Shadow. I think the most likely thing you're going to see that's Shadow focused to come out of this trademark, if anything, is a show with Keanu Reeves. Either a Paramount Plus show with Keanu Reeves, or they do a Shadow movie. That's your best bet for anything big with Shadow. I don't see a game. Because again, we just had one, and Sonic is not in the position yet. Because like I showed all those good things, right, with Frontiers, Superstars, Shadow Gens, and Crossworlds is doing great. You need to keep consistently putting more stuff out. You don't just put out like 3 good games and go, all right, we're untouchable now. No, 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 no. After years of being in the rut, you need to show everyone that for at least 10 years, you can show them, hey, we are good, guys. We are making up, right? You had 2022 with Frontiers showing that, hey, we're back. 2023 with Superstars and the Final Horizon DLC. 2024 with Shadow, and now 2025 with Crossworlds. You have to show people that we can consistently keep pumping out good games and good content, so you guys can feel safe and assured with our brand. So when we do something like, hey, maybe we do a spin-off Shadow game, or we do another maybe spin-off Shadow movie, people will go, yeah, that's fine. Like, you need to build your brand enough so that way you are established, that way something like that can happen. Like the MCU, when the MCU was going on all cylinders, they were allowed to experiment, right? That's when you got stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, or the Netflix shows were made, right? You have the Netflix universe and all that. You have stuff like Agent Carter. You're allowed to do more experimental stuff like that when you've proven that your mainline things are going to be fine. Right? That's when you're fine. But when you start, like when you're not in a good place and then you start doing the experimental stuff like all around bish bosh, that doesn't work. You need to show everyone that your main core attractions are fine, perfect. No matter what happens with everything else, you know for a fact, at least the game coming out this year will be great. So when they do a spin-off or they do an offshoot, you go, okay, you can do that. I trust you. You have to build that trust. And Sega is building the trust slowly, because again, the movies are doing good. They've been hitting the park for like the past 4 years now, counting this year, 4 games in a row. They had Sonic Origins as well. I completely forgot, where they just re-released all of the freaking Genesis games out there too. So it's like you're building that trust, right? But you need to be assured. And with Sonic's 35th anniversary next year, that is going to be a big thing. I think if you can show people that you can handle Sonic's 35th anniversary, right? And you give him the biggest freaking celebration that he deserves for his 35th anniversary. If you show people that, and who knows what happens next year, this is a video unto itself, whether or not we get the Frontier sequel next year to celebrate, or we at least get it announced that, hey, the Frontier sequel is called Sonic whatever, here's a teaser, 2028 or whatever the hell, right? I don't think it'll be 2027. But whether or not the game comes out next year, or at least it's announced, if you can show people, hey, we're gonna, this is our 35th anniversary, here's a bunch of stuff, boom, 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 and it's all good quality things, then you have built the trust enough to that way when you go, hey, guys, we're doing a spin-off Shadow game, like a full-on spin-off Shadow game that's like 5 hours, right, or something, right? Or like, hey guys, we're gonna do a new spin-off Knuckles game, and that game's like 10 hours, Hey guys, we're gonna do a spin-off Silver the Hedgehog game, full on. People will be like, sure, absolutely, you've built my trust, you show me that you can have the quality, go on ahead, I'll see what's happening. But there we go, that's my long ramble that I have here on will there be a new Shadow game? The answer, I don't think so, because we're not in a position to do that. The best thing you're going to get is a Shadow movie or TV show, I think, at this point, and I think this trademark is mainly about merch. So there we go, that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.